About ready?
I think our guests are here.
Okay. Hola, hola, hola. Welcome to the weekend kickoff radio show. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Pam.
Hi, Pam.
Hi, Patrick.
How are you?
After a short absence, we're back.
A very short one, yes.
Yes.
Here we are. It's always fun to be back here in the booth with
It
you.
It is. With you also.
Well, we have some exciting guests, or a guest today.
Yes, we do.
And we'll bring them in a little bit, or now, whenever. Hi.
Hi.
Well, we're just going to talk amongst ourselves for a moment or two, and then we'll let people know who you guys are.
Okay.
From EPA and for Polyglot.
Okay,
The
all right.
Spanish school.
All right, good, groovy. Be sure to be real close to this if you're going to talk. But take it easy for a few minutes.
Yes, relax.
Yes.
And we'll talk.
We'll talk a little. Of course, today's show is brought to you by Big Daddy's.
Big Daddy's the home of
Boom, boom. Shrimp,
Chicken,
chicken, salad,
and
sandwiches, burgers.
Monster
Monster.
Margaritas.
Sí, grande margaritas.
Yes.
Sí, mucho sabor.
See.
Sí. Yes, they're excellent. Probably the best, tastiest ones in
I
town.
believe you're correct.
And, our friends over there do good things for us.
They
so
do.
we encourage everybody, head on over to Big Daddy's.
That's right, exactly.
Whenever you can. So tomorrow
Tomorrow,
and Sunday,
yes, are the last two performances of the Tin Woman.
the Tin Woman, yeah, and that's been going really well.
It has been, and you are one of the linchpin characters in that, I must say.
Oh, thank you.
And you do an excellent job.
Oh, thank you. Double thank you. I
very
appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
It's been quite a challenge doing that part. This is a good drama. It is. It's got a lot of pathos, catharsis, but it's something I think almost all of our audience can relate to.
I think you're right. But it isn't sad. It isn't a drama.
No, it's not.
Quite funny in a lot of
There's
places.
quite a lot of humor in
Yes.
it. Yes, yeah. It's kind of one of those deals where if you don't laugh, you probably cry in real life.
Probably, yes. And I think laughter through tears
Yeah.
is something that a lot of people, it's healing.
It is. It is. I played this character named Hank who his world has kind of left him behind in some ways. I kind of base him on my own relatives because they didn't understand the changing world.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't understand people who are gay or people who are of another color than them, or people who had facial hair even. That was, they had all kinds of problems adapting to that. And it was a slow process. And some of them never made it, and some of them did. Some of them figured out that people are all different.
Right. I think it was very challenging for the people who were born in, say, the late 1920s, early 1930s. They'd gone through so much. So that's why they're called the greatest generation.
Right.
Because of the Depression, World War II. But then the whole world changed in the mid-60s, the 70s.
Yeah.
And took different viewpoints. And that's probably, I know with my own family, my mom and dad, there were attitudes that I wasn't even aware they had.
Yeah.
That I learned later in life.
Oh, absolutely. I was raised by my great-grandmother and my grandmother. My great-grandmother was born in the 1890s, and she was what they called a hard-shell Baptist.
Oh, boy.
Now, that is just a lot to the right.
Yes.
Ideologically. They, as I've said before, they make Southern Baptists look like a pack of Hollywood liberals. So she had very stern, etched-in-stone beliefs. Not only when it comes to the Bible, but politics as well, And I got to say, they were old school Democrats.
Oh, wow.
They were not liberal Democrats. They were labor old school.
Okay.
And they just did not.
So they're the ones that voted FDR in 4 times.
Yes, they are.
Mm-hmm.
But they were not at all happy with LBJ and his New Deal, his Great Society.
His Great Society.
And
right.
the civil rights and all of that. They did not like that at all. So It was an interesting time to grow up, but it provided a lot of material to draw on for characters in shows like this.
Right.
You know.
And, well, it certainly seems to help you because you do a great job with that character.
Thank you. It's really weird because, kind of let my hair grow out for all of this.
Yeah.
And I look in the mirror, I see both my dad and my grandfather on my mother's side.
Wow.
That's how they look.
Freaky.
It is. I'll be getting a haircut Monday. So yeah, that's Tin Woman, guys. There are tickets available. Come and see it.
Yes.
Online, mailboxes, etc., or at the door.
So the performance on Saturday is 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
And
yes.
the matinee performance on Sunday is
2 o'clock. Yes.
And the tent opens for admission
About an hour beforehand.
about an hour beforehand each performance.
Yeah. And, don't forget, with your ticket to the show, on the back there's a coupon for a free glass of wine if you dine that day at the Rock. So, and if you have your BCP wine tumbler, bring that for $1 off your refill.
Yes, those of you who bought early on,
Yeah.
You still have a couple more shows to catch up on that $15,
That's right.
break-even deal,
That's right, yeah. And next weekend, of course, we'll have the Blues Extravaganza.
which everyone's looking forward to.
Oh, this is an all-star band of unparalleled
Talent.
Yes, they Mike Schwartz has put together the Paquete All-Star Blues Band with just you guys are going to be blown away.
Yeah.
I'm not being hyperbolic here.
Not at all. In fact, it's kind of interesting how that all evolved because if you recall, not that many months ago, he was really worried that he wasn't going to be able to put together a band
I
for
know,
this thing.
I know.
And look what he's done.
Yeah. And like all of us, he kind of forgets that things tend to happen kind of last minute.
Yes,
here,
exactly.
You can plan as far out as you want, but things aren't really going to get going until about 2 weeks before you're ready for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then, of course, our last show is going to be Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes.
Holy cow, I just saw the puppets. Oh, my.
I know. I
That's
saw those
gonna be
too.
Amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're big enough to fit 2 people in them, right?
Yeah.
So because of puppeteers.
Exactly. We have puppeteers.
We have puppeteers.
Adult puppet show.
Yeah.
Kind of. Wow.
It's people, you need to come see that one because that's nothing that we've ever done before.
Yeah, it's totally different.
It's epic.
Well, it kind of fits with the BCP tent theater seasons last year and this. Last year was definitely something we've never done before.
That's true.
And this year, again, we have really broken, I think, some boundaries.
I think we kind of shown Boguete that we have some very talented people living
Absolutely.
here.
And our very first show was all in todo en español.
Yes.
And it was a big success. It was a very funny show. Divorciadas, Evangelica y Vegetariana. So the more I say it, the better I get it.
Yeah. It sounds very smooth now.
Yeah. It was a comedy farce, and it was a big hit. And then of course, the Motown Generation show.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Now, that is a show that people are going to be talking about for a very long time.
Yes. I mean, that sold out to the point where we had standing room only. It was
Yeah.
Yeah, if you missed that one, you missed it.
Well, we've got, all of the stars of that show, all 29 of them, 28 of them, are getting used to being Boquete famous.
Yes, they are.
And it's a new thing for them. I cannot go into a store in and out quickly because somebody's got to tell me how great some of these shows are. And I'm like, yes, please, keep talking.
Keep talking and tell everybody else that's around you.
Tell your friends. The shows are good. Everybody on every crew works very hard.
They do.
And I've never seen so many people work so hard for no pay.
They get a lot of appreciation, though.
They do. They do. I've seen crews on Hollywood sets that are making buku bucks not work nearly as hard as these people are.
Wow.
Because it's their home, it's their place,
Yeah.
and they have a deep investment in it.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
It shows. It pays off.
Yeah.
So, I think
I have a little part in Tin Woman.
Oh, you do too, don't you?
I
Yeah.
do.
A very funny part.
Very little part, yes.
Oh, yeah, but you're part of what makes it the humor.
I'm
brings
the
humor
wild
in.
and wacky redhead.
Yes. And people are going to wonder still, is that really your hair?
I know.
Yeah. How'd you
I
grow
know.
that so fast?
Fast. It's just lots of carrots. It's just, yeah.
Lots of carrots.
Lots of carrots.
Yeah, definitely. All the folks on that show are great, including yourself.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I think you kind of set the tone too. You and our nurse.
Oh, the comedy tone, yes.
You guys kind of set the humorous tone.
Although Darla does get serious with Joy.
She does.
She does.
Absolutely.
She acts as a good best friend.
You got to do that with your best friends
Yeah,
sometimes.
sometimes.
They need to hear the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So, come on down.
We're
Come
having
to
a
town.
blast.
Go to boquetetheater.com to find out what kind of tickets you can get a hold of.
That's right.
And you can pay with credit cards now.
Oh, that's right. That's new this
Either
year.
at the market or at the tent.
Yeah.
Or online with a bank transfer, one of those deals.
And we have a luxurious tent with a luxurious bar tent.
Oh, man, the bar is great.
It is.
It's awesome. It is cocktails. It's delicious snacks. They got burgers.
We have
They've
burgers
got
and hot dogs.
hot
and
dogs.
popcorn.
Yeah, they
I tell you,
always do such a great job for us.
backstage smelling that popcorn sometimes.
I know, huh?
Killer.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Well, the hardest one for me is on Thursday nights.
Yeah.
When they have all-you-can-eat rib night at the Rock.
Oh, yeah.
And we're there rehearsing, and I just smell those ribs wafting over. So anyway,
Yes.
we do have a couple guests,
I see that.
and what would you like to do next?
Why don't we introduce our guests?
Okay.
See what they have to contribute to us
All
today.
right. First up is Giselle.
Yes.
Giselle, what's your last name, please?
Montenegro, Giselle Montenegro.
Montenegro. See, we do such thorough research before the
yes,
show.
we do. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
And introduce your partner for us.
Okay, my partner is Professor Eisenhower Morales.
Hola.
Hola.
Mucho gusto.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
He's one
nice
of
to meet
our
you.
teachers, a Spanish teacher.
Okay. And the name of your Spanish school or class?
Well, our Spanish school is EPA, Español en Panamá, and we are working together with Polyglot now. That is the school of the...
I see.
Yeah, we are working together now.
Oh, that's very cool. Polyglot, that's like many tongues, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a great name for
For a school.
a language school.
Yes.
yeah. So, Giselle, are you from here or?
I'm from Boquete, right?
All
But I
right.
live in David.
Okay.
Okay.
But your school is here, yeah?
The school is in Boquete.
Okay.
Right?
All right, cool.
We are located in Plaza Los Establos.
Oh, okay. I know where that is.
So did I recently see an advertisement that you are doing something for teaching Spanish very rapidly?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Exactly. Well, we offer different courses now. We offer group lessons, private lessons. It depends the time of the student.
Mm-hmm. So who's your average student?
Sorry?
Who give me an idea of who your average student is? Is it somebody like me who came here to retire?
Everybody can study Spanish.
Okay.
Everybody.
Okay. Well, that it's a good thing to know. I see people on Facebook, who are thinking of moving here, and they say, "Do I really need to speak Spanish to
Oh,
move to
yeah.
Panama?"
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
At least a little,
Yes.
But it would be nice, it would be polite to the host country if we all made more of an effort to speak Spanish, more
Exactly.
Spanish.
Exactly.
Awesome. Do you get, this is maybe a weird question, people from other Spanish-speaking countries who may have different dialects or, different phrasings or whatever. Do you ever get people like that come to learn Panamanian Spanish or?
Sure.
Yeah?
People. Professor.
Let's say students wants to learn phrases from Panamanian phrases.
See?
Well, sometimes we have for my case, I had like students from Mexico, but they were born in the U.S.
Okay.
So they want to learn the mother language, the mother tongue,
Yeah.
and so as teachers, we tend to teach them like kind of general Spanish to be able to understand any Spanish speaker.
See?
But also, if they are living here, we teach them like expressions, Panamanian expressions.
Okay.
And also expressions that can be helpful for any Spanish speaker or understand. You can understand any Spanish speaker, like from Spain or from Mexico, from Colombia.
See, all very different.
Mhm.
I have a friend who can tell what province somebody's from by their accent.
Mhm.
You know, I'll bet you guys can too.
Mhm.
So, what got you involved in teaching?
Yes.
How did you get involved in teaching?
Well, I'm
Yeah.
actually I'm like teacher like my whole life I've been teacher.
See?
I thought my little brother had to read and write in the beginning, but I became like official teacher here in Panama. When I
Okay.
moved because I'm from Colombia.
Okay.
In Colombia, I worked like, with education, but here I became like a formal like teacher as a second language, like
Uh-huh.
Spanish as a second language. And I love like exchange like with other people like from all over the world, like to learn from the culture, and that was my motivation to teach Spanish because I love languages.
Okay.
My brand my name brand is polyglot. I love languages.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think one part of like integrate with a culture is try to learn the language, try
See?
to be part of the society,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So I want to help my students get this from the Panamanian perspective, from the Latino perspective,
Uh-huh.
my own perspective. Like I try to identify what are the strengths and weaknesses in the language.
Okay.
So sometimes I work with expats, retired students, or college students. So depends on the person. I try to see what's the person needs in order to understand how they think.
Right.
And I try also to learn about their background, like the of the country. Oh, he's American or she's American. So I try to find any equivalency with Spanish. Say, oh, so you use this kind of expressions. We can kind of have this equivalent
Okay.
in Panamanian expressions.
Okay,
like,
yeah. I've heard many colorful expressions that are only used here. Could you give us an example? Like, we lived in Los Angeles most of our adult lives, and the majority of the people there, I would say, speak Mexican Spanish. Although you do have a lot of Salvadorians, a lot of other Central Americans. What can you give me an example of a colloquialism, a phrase you would hear here, they wouldn't understand if I tried to use it there or in Mexico?
There's some expressions that are just Panamanian. Like, for example, when it rains a little bit, it's to say bajareque, but nobody understands bajareque
See, oh yeah, yeah.
outside of Boquete or Chiriquí.
Never heard that term till I moved here.
Not even in Panama City.
Yeah?
I don't
really?
think they know that concept.
Wow.
Of bajareque.
No,
It's
no,
just
no.
here.
Yeah.
Not usually.
There's expressions like Panamanian expressions, like for example, a surprise expression.
Yeah?
Especially in Panama City, we say "ay a la vida."
Uh-huh.
It's like oh my God.
Oh, really?
But in Mexico, they don't understand what is "ay a la vida."
Yeah.
No, "ay a la vida," like
Ay,
a
a la
surprise.
vida.
Or like in Colombia, we don't use that expression either. Like,
Really?
But I think is language is something. It's more than words. It's like gestures. It's context.
Okay.
So if you say this expression "ay a la vida" in a moment when something is surprising for you, so you get it immediately. No matter if you are Mexican or whatever you are, no matter where is your country.
Right.
So I think this is one part like. We don't learn. We can't learn in an academy. We just learn through life. You know.
See.
Maybe what expressions I think can use Panamanian that another Spanish speaker can understand. I can't think in one right now. Doesn't like your Panamanian that tell me
Yeah.
one expression like could be like kind of general for. I can think of one,
I don't
like
remember
specifically
right
one, because there are too many, and they only have like translation
Right.
in Panamanian.
Yeah.
But as I said, like as a Colombian or Argentinian, if we are here, and we hear that a certain expression
Uh,
in a certain moment, we immediately get it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, this is something like this. It should
Okay.
be related with the subject we are talking to.
yeah.
But that's a beautiful thing of languages.
It is. Well, I feel like Panamanians out here, especially. I mean, I haven't spent much time in Panama City at all,
No, I haven't either.
but I feel like you guys like to have more fun with the language here. The one thing that I learned early on. Hola, right here. That's our station owner just
Yes,
whizzing
well-
by. That and my landlady, I think, taught us this. She said, instead of "que pasó," they say "que sopa."
Ah,
Yeah.
But that's only here, right?
in Panama, yeah.
Yeah.
Que sopa it sounds like soup, but no,
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
it's que pasó backwards.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
upside
It's a
down.
flip.
Uh-huh.
I think that's a lot of fun. Things like that.
Yeah, it's more like a casual, more like slang way. Not
Yeah.
every single Panamanian say this. It's
Yeah.
more like a casual, young like generations
Yeah,
especially say.
I probably wouldn't say that to a stranger, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. No,
It wouldn't be polite.
You must know the
Yeah.
person. You have
Yeah.
to, at least some like kind of relationship with
Yeah.
the person. Yep.
So are your classes mostly one-on-one?
Well, we had group and one-on-one classes.
Okay.
When I have an interview with a student, they say, okay, how do you do with me? Like, depending of my, like they say, okay, I haven't taken classes before. I would like to know what's your style. So, okay, it's interesting to know what's my style. I could say like is intuitive.
Okay.
I have a conversation with you.
Uh-huh.
Like, where are you from? What's your background? Have you ever studied languages or
Sí,
Spanish?
sí.
Do you live in a place where there's like Spanish speakers?
Uh-huh.
When I have this information, I can say, okay, I know how to work with you.
Yeah.
Like depending of that background, I can organize the classes. I can have a classes, for example, for tenses or direct object, things like this, very grammatical. But I can't teach the same thing to the same person,
Right.
like that to every single person.
Right.
Maybe you have a college level, but some people they just dedicated to other stuff, not just something like related with education.
Okay.
And so I can't teach the same way.
Ah,
So I organize
interesting.
depending of that. So I have groups of all retired students with different backgrounds, different styles. I have students that are actual college students.
Wow.
So it might change, but depends on the person.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important part of teaching. It's
Sí.
not just, okay, this is the lesson. If you understand it, it's your
Yeah.
problem. No, it's the person itself.
One size does not fit all.
No. So do you find, I speak as an older person, that people of my age in their 70s, is it harder for them to learn a new language?
That's an interesting question. And so many people is afraid to start learning. They say, no, I'm too old. I should study when I was in my 20s, when I was a
Right,
kid. But actually, we always learn. And some people say in English that like old dogs don't learn don't learn
You
new
can't
tricks.
teach old dogs
Dogs
new
new
tricks.
But it doesn't apply.
That's not
Not
true.
even for dogs.
Yeah.
Not even for people.
Yeah.
We learn, but
Yeah.
in the first case, we are slower. The older we get,
Right.
maybe we get a little slower.
Yeah.
But we always learn.
See.
Because our brain is like a muscle.
Yeah.
If you
This is
train
true.
your brain, it creates new connections.
This is
Maybe
true.
it's not when a little kid is new, is
Yeah.
young, had no problems, no other situations to think of.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So when we grow, we have things to pay, we have family,
Right.
we have
A lot of distractions.
a lot of distractions. So we are not completely focused on learning, but we can learn. It's a
Okay.
lie. One of my students, he's like almost 80 years old. And he's awesome. I admire him because
Wow.
sometimes he has his issues, his health
Yeah,
conditions,
yeah.
but he tries to attend his classes
Okay.
with his pain, with his situation, with his appointments, a doctor
Yeah.
appointment. But it's incredible how he learned. He makes his homework.
Okay.
He work hard.
See?
And he improve. And he feels this accomplishment when he is able to create a complex sentence
Yeah.
when he reads a story.
That feels real good when you can
Right.
create sentences, have a conversation.
Yeah, and you feel that you have this feeling of accomplishment.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
it can happen either if you're
Yeah.
young or middle age or maybe older.
It's true that getting older, it is more difficult than it was. What isn't? Than when you were in your 20s, right?
Well, we learned that when we learned our scripts, right?
Yeah.
So I know it takes me a little bit longer
Yeah.
to learn all my lines and I have to do it every single day,
Yeah.
to get it right.
And it like you said, the brain is like a muscle, and the more you do it, the easier it gets, though.
Yeah.
And that's, we talk to actors or sometimes teach actors, the more it's like doing push-ups. The more things you memorize, the more you can memorize, and the easier it becomes. Still not as easy as when you're in your 20s, but or 30s
It happens.
or whatever.
Yeah, it happens.
So better
But
consistency.
you can do this, absolutely. I'm getting to a point where I can understand a lot of conversations. I have trouble initiating them unless I'm asking for something. I can sometimes understand the answers I'm given, and sometimes not. So I know where my areas of improvement need to be.
Just like I was so proud of myself a couple of months ago, I was at the German bakery.
Yeah.
And I gave the entire order in Spanish.
Oh, see.
And then she said something back to me, and I just stared at her. I had no clue. And all she was saying to me was, to go or for here.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, see.
When you say the punch and you don't expect that the person replies.
That's right.
Okay, no Spanish. I gotta say this. And when they start answering it, okay, what I'm doing here.
I've had that experience. I've had the opposite too.
Yeah.
I feel good. I ask for something in Espanol, todo en Espanol, and he replies in English. You want that sliced? See. Yeah. Didn't I say that?
Well, I actually can go. I have a gas station that I favor because they check my air pressure and
Oh, that's
everything.
nice.
And I actually went there the other day, and he asked me if I want my tires checked in Spanish. I was able to converse with him, understand what he was saying.
Oh, very nice.
And he was, 95 fill up. How difficult is that? But
Yeah. It's an easy. But yeah, it's. We moved here almost 8 years ago, and my wife's a little disappointed that in the neighborhood we're in, very little Spanish, right? And we know so many expats, and she wanted to live in a place that everybody spoke Spanish all the time, so she could pick it up. Well, there's ways around that.
There's a way.
Yeah.
Like you can go out from your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Hey, just take a taxi one day. Want these little buses?
Oh,
like
see.
little,
I love the little
chivita,
bus.
How do you call
See.
it here? Busitos?
Busitos,
Sí.
right.
You sit next to a person and say, the day is cool. ¿Cómo es el día? Mucha lluvia, calor.
Yeah.
You can start like that.
Sí.
Like go to the store, ask in Spanish. I know many people speak English here. They switch when they see, they look like gringos, so I can start speaking English. But you can ask politely,
Sí.
por favor, en español.
Sí.
Quiero practicar, ayúdame.
Practicing, right.
Sí.
I help you with
Practicar,
English, with some
ayúdame,
English. We
sí.
can,
Exactly.
but help me a little bit with
Yeah,
Spanish.
sí.
And people is okay with that. If you ask, don't
Yeah.
be afraid.
Be polite and ask.
People love when
Yeah.
you are doing that effort to speak their language. You
Sí.
say, they're trying to speak. So
Absolutely.
I can help. You never feel. Some people say, no, I don't speak because I feel stupid. Don't say that.
Right, right.
No, we are learning.
See.
People is happy to see your effort and say, wow, they are trying to learn our language because they love this place. They love people. They want to share with us. They don't want just to be different. That's just.
See, my new favorite phrase now is ayúdame, por favor.
Ayúdame, por favor, sí.
I had a comment. It fell out of my head just a second ago. Oh, I was going to say one of the little busito, the Zona Urbana bus, driven by a lovely gentleman named Umberto. And, I struck up a friendship with him. He recognizes me. Before we had a car, we lived here 7 years without a car.
Wow.
I took all either the bus or the taxi, and I got to know. It took a while to figure out which bus goes where I want to go. Right? Actually, there's 3 of them that do. But once I did, I always got on the bus with Umberto. We'd have a little conversation, and he knew right where to drop me off.
Wow.
I love this town. I love this place. I love this country.
Yes.
Everything is. everything is really awesome here and
Welcoming.
welcoming, and I love the politeness. I love the fact that you greet people, you acknowledge people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't just walk up to somebody in the store and go, "Hey, where are the scissors?"
Yeah.
You know, or something like that. It's a wonderful thing. Panama,
Panama.
Boquete.
Boquete.
So Giselle, you live in David and you work here.
Yes.
You come here.
It is.
How many times a week do you have classes?
From Monday to Friday.
Oh, every day of the week.
Every day.
Oh, cool.
Even
Cool.
Saturday.
Okay.
If you want.
All right.
Oh, wow.
And where can we go to sign up for your? We can find you in Plaza Los Establos.
Yes, sure.
Do you have a website also, or?
We have our website is studyspanishinpanama.com.
.com?
And our phone number with WhatsApp is 6977 0124.
6977 0124. Okay. Write that down, kids. You'll want that for later.
That's right.
Or just rewatch the show on Facebook or YouTube.
Perfect.
So you can have that number. That's great. So 5 days a week.
Sure.
Do you have different classes, different
Times or
levels
For sure.
throughout the day?
We offer, for example, the group lessons is from 9 to 12,
Okay.
Monday to Friday, and also we offer private lessons that is depend of the student. It's
Okay.
1 hour, 2
Ability.
hours,
Okay.
1 or 2 times per week.
Mm.
And also we have our survival Spanish lessons for people who comes to Boquete just for a few days to learn some phrases, some vocabulary, greetings. We have this.
Oh, that's
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah.
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 Well, I have to give a shout out to my neighbor, Hermanio Santos, because he recommended you
Yeah.
to
He's one
us.
of my students, actually.
He's
He
one of your
was-
students?
Was one of
Yes.
my students.
And I'm a
yeah.
little
Awesome.
surprised because he has great Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
wanted to speak like correctly because he has some Hispanic roots.
Uh-huh.
He knows some words.
See?
And he is able to speak like with certain level of fluency, but he wanted to speak like correctly because sometimes he don't use like a proper grammar or this
Right,
stuff. But
right.
most important thing is to be able to communicate with others. Just he wanted to speak more properly, and he's actually a very good student.
Yeah. Proper grammar is something I aspire to learn someday because yo hablo español como un idiota. So,
Well, you try.
Mucho
That's
tiempo.
important. That's important.
One of the hardest things in my brain to do is in Spanish, you'd say my family. How do you do that? No, I can't do it. You have things a little backwards from what we do in English.
Like possession. When you talk about possession,
See,
my father's house, for
Right.
example, we do use the apostrophe en es, but in Spanish we speak like Old English. The house of my father.
Sí.
In
Sí.
Spanish is like Old English. That
Sí.
we like long sentences. Sometimes it's like backwards.
see.
We don't have nothing like mi padre's casa. No,
No.
makes no sense in Spanish.
Oh, see.
No,
Yeah.
at all.
It's,
and that's the hardest thing
Casa de
in
mi
my brain
padre?
to get through.
Yeah.
Is to flip it like that.
Yeah. One of my other challenges is when I listen to Espanol, people talking casually, a conversation, or even on TV. I have trouble telling where one word ends. Speak English much? Where one word ends and another word begins. So I end up feeling like I don't know what this big word is, But if I could slow it down, kind of, I see it. Oh, it is 2 words. Oh, okay. Like ayúdame. That's not one word.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
2 words together.
Yeah, but to me, it at first
Sounds like
one
one
word.
word, yeah.
See?
And some of your words are very long. Like for fundamental,
Yeah.
that's a huge word in Spanish.
Sí, fundamental. Well, actually, it has almost the same kind of amount of syllables. Fundamental, fundamental. 4 sílabas.
Yeah,
sí.
Sounds longer, but some of the words are like. In English, sometimes you omit or have a lot of silent letters, especially consonants, like apartment, a mountain.
See?
But you don't say apartment mountain. Well, sometimes some people
part-
say, but in Spanish, always we pronounce every single consonant.
Sí,
With some
apartamento.
except apartamento. We have some exceptions. Montaña, apartamento. Every single T sounds, every single vowel.
Uh-huh.
And you have a little constructions like when just two vowels only sounds one.
Sí.
But in Spanish, every single vowel sounds.
Well, you know, and some of those differences, they appear to be small at first, you know, minute, but they're not, because I've definitely seen situations go both ways where a Spanish speaker does not understand my word, even though it's very similar to their word, and vice versa. They'll say a word, I'm like, what? Oh, apartamento. Oh, okay,
A
it's an
little difference.
apartment. But it's very similar, you know.
Oh, yeah. A lot of similar.
But it does take, at least for me, it takes extra concentration to make that bridge. And I feel like that's something that gringos, especially from the U.S., take for granted. They say a word, they expect, if it's similar to a Spanish word, they expect you to get it right away.
It's
And
not pronounced right.
no.
Yeah.
You say, I'm embarrassed. So you say, okay, embarrassed should be embarazado.
Oh,
Estoy
no.
embarazado.
No, that's
Really?
pregnant.
Congratulations, did you have a baby?
Well, I kind of look that way. But
Yeah, we would think, okay, it should be the same translation, but
Right,
embarrassed
no.
is to be pregnant in Spanish.
See.
Nothing to do with that.
Oh, there are a lot of gringos that just want to add an O onto the end of any word. And, oh, I'm speaking Spanish.
I would say, I'm excited. In Spanish, it should be excitado. But sometimes excitado can sound like kind of like
Weird.
but on the side of excitement, like, you know.
Yeah,
feels,
yeah.
So they, oh no, I'm gonna throw some water to you if you got excitado in Spanish. Maybe you say emocionado.
Oh.
It's like full of emotions, because excitado is kind of be something like related with intercourse.
Uh-huh,
You
I
know?
see. Oh, your dog's excited.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
Not
gotcha.
necessarily all the time, but sometimes can be.
It can have the wrong
understood.
connotation.
Yeah. So
Okay.
sometimes this is a very funny thing. Or when you say I'm hot in Spanish, you can say estoy caliente.
Sí.
It's the same thing. You
Yeah.
say I have heat or something like that. Tengo calor.
Uh-huh. Ah.
It's good to understand.
Wait, you're in
what words.
heat? What? No.
Uh-huh. It's
Oh,
funny. It's
that's
funny when it
awesome.
happens.
Do you speak other languages? How many other
I
languages?
speak some Chinese.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Wow.
I speak some Chinese.
Do you have Chinese clients who want to learn
Not
Spanish?
now. In the past, I used
Uh-huh.
to have some friends and students, actual students online
Uh-huh.
from China. Like they were from China. We have to figure out the difference time, the 13 hours
Well,
difference.
China has
Yeah.
all different. I mean, there's Mandarin Chinese.
Uh-huh.
Is that what you speak?
I speak Mandarin Chinese. Yeah,
Okay.
this is, but
'Cause there's
just some, and I haven't practiced for a while. But I can have a kind of conversation in Chinese, like basic conversation. I can understand some stuff, and I learned that because of my students. I wanted to understand the language
See?
in order to know how it works for them. It's
Right.
like American English. I learned by myself mostly.
Right.
So I want to know how Americans think in order to be able to teach them properly.
Uh-huh.
Or like if you're from Australia, some expression from or from France. I speak some French. I understand most that I speak. That's why my idea of my logo. No
Yeah.
matter what's your language or mother language, you can learn Spanish, and you can use the same structure to learn any language.
Sí, sí. Oh, es verdad.
Es verdad, es cierto, correcto.
We used to watch a show in LA. We took Spanish classes long before we ever thought of coming to Panama.
Mhm.
And then we'd watch a show. It was one of our favorite shows called Sábado Gigante
Ah,
con
muy
Don
famoso.
Francisco.
Francisco.
Yeah, yeah.
Famous.
Sí, es.
I later found out he actually wasn't Hispanic. He was, I think, Austrian or something.
Really?
Yeah. Originally.
Back,
But he
like his
grew up.
roots. Mm.
Yeah, he grew up in, I forget where, but
Yeah, I
South
think
America,
the
Colombia.
show was from Chile, Don Francisco de Chile.
Yeah,
Mexico?
maybe so.
Chile, I think it's Chile or Mexico.
Mexico, I think.
I think it was. But
It was on all of
growing
the
in-
Spanish stations,
Mhm.
cable stations. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a cross between a game show, an interview show, Truth or Consequences, the dating game. It was just this
Hodgepodge.
Yes, complete hodgepodge, but so much fun. And that's, I think, when we really started to go, we need to learn better Spanish. We need to keep with it. Yeah. I don't think that show's on TV anymore, but
No, we're working on like making videos for our like expats and friends that they are currently studying Spanish or not studying, but giving them some tips and some stuff. And we're working on doing that with like like help each other, like
See?
EPA and Polyglot, like working each other to give them some tips like pronunciation tips or conjugation tips.
Yeah.
Some little words,
Phrases.
phrases. I'm working on that. We want to be more active in that for the community. Just
Okay.
to give them, we have to share some with them, like in order to help them, to encourage them to keep learning.
See?
And this is one of our projects.
That's an excellent project.
Mhm.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to make videos in the past from YouTube and this stuff, but now I had to be more consistent and working
Right.
for people who's currently living here in this area.
Here's another question for both of you guys. Something I was kind of surprised at. I went into a store when we first moved here, and there were a couple of people behind the counter, and one person didn't speak any English, and he didn't speak any Spanish. He was indigenous. I think he was a member of the Nobe or Nabe. Do you find that is that a common thing, or is that a rare thing that the indigenous don't speak as much Spanish as I would expect?
Well,
Here.
it happens, but it's not so common now.
Okay.
Because like the indigenous community, like they have learned Spanish, like because they work like
Right.
working together in the same country, So
Right.
with passing time, they started learning more Spanish, but they have also their own languages, and sometimes some of the members of these communities they live all the time they keep all the time in their territories.
Right.
So when they rarely come to like this, let's say Latino speaking
See?
Spanish like areas, well, they are not able to communicate very well
Yeah.
because we
Right.
don't speak their languages or their dialects and languages, because they have dialects and languages as well. But it's not so common now, but it happens. It's
Yeah.
happen.
I had the impression that it was maybe his first day on the job or something,
Huh.
or second day or whatever.
Interesting.
It was, yeah. Any idea how many native languages, different languages there are here? Or?
I don't have a number, but there are a lot. There are a lot of different. Some of them are just dialects.
Uh-huh.
Some of them are actual languages now.
Uh-huh.
Some of the Nobe, I think they
But
have.
no, but now it's a language.
It's a language
Yeah.
now because
Yeah.
they use like a alphabetical system and
Yeah.
So, but I don't know how many there are, but there are lots.
Well,
And when we have people like they don't have any like bridge language. For
Right.
example, imagine you're from Austria and you don't speak. Oh, maybe they speak English, but just imagine they just speak their town language, the Austrian. I don't know what's the
Right.
language there. So how do you do to learn a language like Spanish or
Yeah,
English? How
yeah.
do you do like? A language is not just words. We
Right.
have
See.
we have gestures.
you do.
If
That's
you
true.
touch your belly
Yeah.
and you show a pain
Uh-huh.
face, and I think you have a
Sí, mucho dolor.
exacto, un dolor de estómago, a stomach ache, right? A
Sí,
belly ache,
sí.
right? So it's that we can start with that.
Okay.
Like if you just wave your hands,
Yeah.
I think you're saying hi, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing that we use in order
Uh-huh.
to start with someone that don't speak any like English or Spanish language.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are always ways.
Actually, I wasn't here that long,
Mm-hmm.
and I ended up in the hospital. And the doctor spoke English, but none of the other staff did.
Oh.
And so for a whole week, we were doing sign language, for them to understand what I wanted and for them to try to communicate with me.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically what
Yeah.
you were saying.
You were
Natural for human.
love miming. Yes.
Coughing.
The necessity is the mother of learning.
Yeah.
Like if you have a necessity, if
Sí.
you just fell into a country where nobody speaks your language, you
Yeah.
have to survive.
Yeah.
I promise that in 3 or 4 or 6 months you're speaking
See. See,
because you have to
absolutely.
survive.
Absolutely.
Right.
I've made very little effort to formally learn Spanish while I was here. I did Duolingo for a while.
My
But-
enemy.
Yeah,
kidding.
I don't do that anymore. Gabrielle does. Gabrielle, I love you. She's very good. She practices every night. She works on it, and she tries to speak as much Espanol as possible when we go out. Wherever we are.
The thing with
And I do too,
Duolingo,
but-
I've been 2 years on Duolingo.
Yeah,
I can read it very well.
yeah.
I can't speak it.
See, that's yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
a tool. I think
It helps.
it's a tool, and you can use a tool in order to learn some stuff. But you can't ask questions. You can
Right.
like learn like some things
Right.
from those things.
Yeah.
But it helps as a tool to complement your
Yeah.
learning.
You need to be able to have dialogue with people. You
Yeah.
need conversation, and I think that is the best way. It sticks in my brain more when I hear people
When you hear it?
talk. When I hear
Correct.
it.
Yeah.
And
that's
if I say something and somebody replies, and I understand the reply, definitely sticks in my head much better, much better.
I have reached a point, and Duolingo has changed somewhat. So I'm far enough along, because I do it every day for 2 years,
See?
that it now is talking to me,
Mm-hmm.
and then it asks me questions in Spanish about what did I just talk about.
Uh huh.
So that's starting
Oh,
to,
that's nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
create
Can improve.
some kind of bridge.
Yeah. I forgot Gabrielle's using it's a different thing now, I think. But anyway, I highly recommend people
Yes.
Give
go get
Classes.
in-person classes, get lessons 9 to 12 every morning.
Yes.
Group classes. That is very convenient.
And we can take just 2 hours from that, like
Uh-huh.
length of time from 9 to 12, 2 hours or
Could you
Way to
go?
handle it.
Could you go? Say, if you can't go every day, could you do it two or
Sure.
three
2 or
times, or
3
one or
times per
two?
week.
Can,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay.
We can arrange depending on the availability of the student,
Uh-huh.
the teachers we have, and our own availability.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we always find a way to to give an option to the student.
Do you separate like advanced from intermediate from beginner?
Totally.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have
We
levels.
have different
Okay.
6 levels. We have different
Exactly.
levels.
And how many instructors do you have?
And in my academy, like my academy is kind of new now
Uh-huh.
and started by myself. That's why I'm collaborating with EPA because they have
Okay.
their teachers, their staff.
Okay.
So sometimes we can share students. So I take some of their students, so they can take some of mine.
Okay.
So I work by alone, and now because
Yeah.
I just starting my like formal academy here. And they have the experience. They have like the staff. Or they have all the things.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a part that we can both help each other. I help with my experience with my kind of charisma experience with my students,
Yeah.
and they have a whole group. They have a very good like programs, all this stuff. So we interview the students to determine what's their level, and no matter what, sometimes some people cannot speak, but they still have some necessities to review some basic things.
Mm-hmm.
And some people can speak, but they never had like a formal classes. So we can go back, integrate sometimes to basic levels just to get the things they need.
Okay.
Or sometimes-
Refreshers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you have a strong base, you
See?
can speak better. You can improve.
See.
So we can determine with the student.
Okay.
So we organize. We have some already created groups, and when we don't have, we just open a new group.
Okay.
That person say,
Ah.
okay, well, let's integrate more people like you. in
Okay.
the future."
Awesome.
And also
awesome.
we have our level test in case that you don't know exactly the level that you have at the moment.
Uh-huh.
So you can do the level test.
Oh, that's cool.
That's very cool.
Can a person come and like audit a class to see if it's the right level or the right thing for them?
Exactly. We offer like sometimes like a free class, like a
Demo
demo class.
Uh huh.
That demo class could be a group class.
Oh.
Could be a kind of private class.
Oh, that's a great thing.
Or sometimes you can integrate just a
Yeah.
group. Okay,
Yeah.
let's see if it's your group. Like
Yeah.
if that's an open spot here.
You know, that's a great thing because sometimes you get into a situation where you're not quite relating to or connecting to the class or the teacher, whatever's going on. So if somebody can come and audit and check it out and go, okay, yeah, this is for me. Definitely, and they write a check, and everybody's you're off to the races.
Exactly. How do you feel? Let's see how you feel in
Yeah,
this group.
yeah.
It's just like more or less it's your level. So
Uh-huh.
let's participate in this class today to see how it goes, how you feel.
Do you have since this is kind of a tourist town. Do you have a high and low season, or a busy or a slow season, or?
Sure.
Yeah, there's always like seasons when there's more people coming.
Uh-huh.
Especially in the rainy season, there's less visitors, right? Because
Right.
it's
Right.
raining all the time.
Right.
So we can have like a market, like from the expats that
Uh-huh.
are actually currently living here.
Uh-huh.
So they're here all the time. So
Yes.
we can work easier with them.
Okay.
But in like high seasons, well, we like open like week classes because they're gonna be here for a week.
Yeah.
So we organize a week class
Okay.
for them, or also they integrate them in some current groups because
Okay,
they match
cool.
with the same level. So
So
they just
you,
accompany the group for 1 week and they just
you get tourists and travelers who are only here for a short time, but they want to learn
Yeah.
Spanish proper. That's amazing. That's
I
great.
would imagine that would be the emergency Spanish that you have those people in.
Yeah. See,
Survival Spanish.
They need to know how to get an ambulance.
Yes.
Or,
because during the high season, most of the students are the people who come,
Yeah.
who come
Yeah.
from abroad.
Yeah.
Like they stay just for 1, 2, or 3 weeks. So they take advantage of this time
Yeah.
here, and they say, okay, let's take some classes during these holidays.
Yeah. We get a lot of backpackers and
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
student age people from Europe
Uh-huh.
and the U.S. and Canada. But I noticed quite a lot of Europeans like to come here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
the
Like
high
from
season.
Germany, from
Yeah.
Netherlands,
See.
they are
Yeah.
very they come a lot of people from those.
Now,
from here.
Netherlands is there's a country where everybody speaks English to some
Mhm.
degree, but it's kind of hard to recognize that it's English. They know the words, but they talk in different kinds of
Their accents are-
tones. And,
Mhm.
Actually, one of my first trips here was to get all my paperwork done. So I was staying in Panama City,
Uh-huh.
and I met a person at the pool who was from the Netherlands,
yeah.
and I found him very interesting. He has some very definite opinions about American politics.
Oh, indeed.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that happened to be right after the January 6th
Oh.
debacle.
Oh, gosh.
So he's just for 3 days.
Oh,
He would
no.
seek me out to
Oh,
tell me what
no.
he thought, and it was like, "What are you talking about?"
Dude, I'm not
Very
here for
interesting
political
person.
education, okay?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get some paperwork
I'm just trying to
handled
get some paperwork done.
and sit by the pool with a cocktail,
That's right.
which sounds like a great idea.
It does, doesn't it?
They don't have a pool, but Big Daddy's does have great cocktails.
That's right. and
See how
it's
Awesome.
smoothly I
getting to be
worked
time.
that ad right in there for Big Daddy. I will say I did listen to an entire conversation on a bus in London. I did not understand a thing they said. They were speaking English, the Queen's English,
The Queen's English.
Oh.
with a heavy Cockney accent, and I have no idea. It was a nice couple, I think. They looked as though they'd had several beverages, and didn't understand a word. So,
Funny, huh?
you know,
Speak some language.
English is a complex, complicated language.
Mhm.
You know, whether you're speaking American English or British English
Australian, British.
or Australian. I have a lot of empathy for Spanish-speaking people
Trying to learn
learning English.
Mhm.
It's very difficult. I still don't have it mastered myself. But
Well, we have so many words that sound exactly the same and
Yeah.
mean totally different things.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, learning languages is interesting also because when you start learning a second or third language, you become a more open person. No matter if you have a different politic,
Sí.
if you are one side or another side, if
Sí.
you have some ideas or some political ideas or ideologies.
Oh, very true.
But you are more open when you learn others people's language. You know, they're different.
I think our prejudices come from a narrow perspective, a narrow point of view. And when you learn another language, you get another point of view. When you are living with people who are very different from how you grew up, how you live, you get to see that, all right, they have all the same problems I have or had. And, you know, we're all people here.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Let's hold hands and sing Kumbaya. This another hour has kind of just
Zip by.
rocketed by us. I want to
But
thank
we
you guys.
learned a lot today.
We did.
We did.
See.
And we so appreciate the fact that
All
you
right.
guys took time out to come and talk to us
Thank you,
today.
too.
Thank you to you.
Yeah. I know it was kind of last minute asking you guys, but I appreciate it
Very much.
it was
Thank you.
it was a great recommendation from
Mhm.
Romania, who is an excellent neighbor, by the
Yeah.
way. He's a great guy. Yeah, connecting is important.
Yep.
Mhm.
Talking is
Absolutely.
important. Relating and, like I said before, being polite to people, I think, is very important.
Absolutely.
Be kind.
Mhm.
Let's
Be kind. Be kind to each other.
Exactly.
And I will say that I'm guilty of forgetting to be polite sometimes. I got my head down. I've got some focus I'm on, and and more often than not, hopefully, I can catch myself if I say, "Hey, where are the pliers?" Por favor. Buenos días. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Dónde está pliers? Which got 1 minute left. Still, my biggest challenge is going into the hardware store because there is where you find names are very different
Yes.
from the things that you want.
Yes.
I finally learned the word for screen door, and which escapes me right at this moment. I forget.
Yeah.
Door with many holes.
Yes. Anyway, took me a while to learn that, but I'm learning. I'm working on it, and I'm glad you guys are here to help us
Yes.
and
Same.
help
Mhm.
help everybody get on the same page. Todo en español.
Todo
Sí.
en español.
Sí.
exacto.
Correcto. Muchas gracias a
All right.
ustedes.
Gracias, guys. Thank you for being
Okay.
here.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Un placer.
All right. Polyglot in
Nice to meet
EPA.
So,
Giselle, thank you.
Thank you.
You guys.